Hello and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. I'm your host, Hilmarie Hutchison, and today's guest is someone who has redefined purpose and sustainable innovation in the UAE's entrepreneurial space. Joining me today is Stacey, founder and CEO of Reloved, a homegrown eco-tech platform that's changing how we buy and sell pre-loved fashion, furniture, and lifestyle items. Annie's story is nothing short of inspiring. After losing her life savings to a fraudulent developer, she rebuilt her business from scratch while pregnant and working full-time. Today, Reloved has helped users save over 1.5 tons of CO2 through conscious shopping, making a tangible difference for the planet and our communities. She's also a seasoned HR professional, a passionate advocate for circular living, and a proud mom who's redefining what it means to be a purpose-driven founder. A perfect guest for the Matrix Green Pill podcast. I love it. Annie, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Hilmarie.
Let's start from the beginning. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us how you ended up here in the UAE?
My name's Annie. I moved to the UAE 11 years ago. I'm from the UK originally, and I was just a bit not bored. Yeah, I suppose bored, wanting a bit of a change. So I said to my boyfriend at the time, now husband, I said, let's go traveling. And he said, I'm happy to maybe move somewhere and go there for a year, save some money, and then we can come back. And here I am 11 years later. And I wouldn't have changed it for the world. It's been a bit of a journey. Obviously, like you mentioned, I've had a baby recently, launched my business, and just enjoying life.
I cannot tell you how many people I've interviewed and spoken to that had the idea they'll come to the UAE for 1 or 2 or 3 years and then ended up staying. They just fell in love with the place, fell in love with the lifestyle, and then it's hard to go back to where you came from. So that's a pretty typical story. Let's talk about a difficult part of your life. I mentioned it also a little bit there in the intro, that you've been very open about losing your life savings to a fraudulent app developer. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what helped you keep going after such a devastating setback?
When I moved to the UAE around 11 years ago, I really wanted a platform where I could buy and sell my items easily, and I just found that there wasn't anything here. So I sat on it for quite a few years thinking, and my mum just said to me, why don't you just make something then or create something? And I don't have a tech background, so I thought, well, there's all these technical experts that I can trust or thought that I could trust. So why don't I just kind of go on Google, speak to some developers and see if they can help me? And I did that. I mean, I was looking at different quotes and I was bootstrapping everything myself. So I spoke to my husband. It's something I'm really passionate about and it's something that I needed, but also a lot of people, even strangers that I spoke to, I kind of spoke about my idea and they were kind of supportive and saying that they wanted a platform too. So I got my husband's kind of support and said, I'm going to use my money and a bit of our money that we had saved. And I said, I'm going to just go ahead and launch this app. And it wasn't just about taking my money and the fact that they did scam me. It was like the emotional side of things as well, that it seemed that they were very good and very professional at. So they would say, can we speak? I remember telling them I'm having my baby on this date. I said, I'm not going to be available for another week or so. And they messaged me on that date saying, we've got your app now. Like, we want to show it to you. Let's jump on a call. So they were also quite emotional with it as well. And the reason I've been so open is because I didn't realize it's actually quite common for tech code developers to actually do this. So I just kind of wanted to also raise awareness, because someone that's not got a tech background, you are just trusting some company and individual to help you. And it was a company that I engaged with, and it was one of the number ones on Google. They're based in the UAE. So I just assumed I could trust them. Yeah, I never got my coding. They were very aggressive with the payment terms, and paying before each milestone. And I was just naive. And unfortunately, that's something that I have to live with. And I suppose it kind of carves my story, unfortunately. I still, after the app development piece, I took a month or two with the newborn and thought, I still really believe in this. So let's continue. And I launched my kind of MVP website platform with a new developer.
It's not like you didn't do your diligence. You had done the research. And as you said, they were first on the Google search. So they had done their own SEO really well. And I love that you are so open about it because you want to raise awareness to other people so they don't get scammed as well. I wasn't aware that there was this very common scam by tech code developers. So that you raise awareness about this is excellent so that people looking for somebody to assist them in a field where they're not experts to possibly do a little bit more extra research, maybe speak to people who have used them, get some verbal references from people that you know. I mean, what other tips would you give to someone to avoid being caught in a scam like this?
Yeah, I think it's also going by recommendations. At the time, I didn't know anyone else that was, launching or creating an app. I think when you can Google a company and there's Google reviews and there's this all singing and all dancing website, I don't know, that's just my naivety. And I didn't even realize these scams kind of happened, especially in this day and age. So I should have listened to my gut. My gut was telling me, not at the beginning, but kind of quite quickly when I realized they were delaying things, they weren't giving me information, they weren't listening to me. I should have just stopped there and then, but I just kept going because I just wanted it so badly. And also I had negotiated the price with them. So I think in terms of advice, it would just be definitely do your due diligence. Don't do what I did and just assume everything's okay, buy a nice website. And recommendations. And I definitely think talking to several different options and kind of seeing comparisons, but also definitely staggering payments so you're not losing everything in one go.
Some good tips, a big learning curve, no doubt, but you came through it. So let's talk about something positive. Let's talk about Reloved. How did the idea of Reloved come about?
It was just out of a need, really. It was something that I wanted. I had, like I said years ago, I had a coffee table that I wanted to sell, and it was just for my kids. So it wasn't expensive, $100, 100 dirhams, about whatever that is in dollars, maybe about $15. And I put it on a platform and I got inundated with calls. And I remember one call was, I will take it for 50 dirhams, so half the price if you paint it black. So I just thought, I always have these items in my wardrobe and I love shopping secondhand as well when it comes to furniture and things. And I just found that I was quite limited when I did that. So I thought I wanted something. My friends did as well. So yeah, let's launch and see what happens.
That's amazing. I so often hear that the best business ideas come from when you're trying to solve a problem for yourself. And then I love it. Then you realize if I can solve this for myself, maybe there's others who would also benefit from the solution. And there's a new business idea. Absolutely brilliant. And I love that you then brought this to market. What were some of your early challenges when you launched Reloved and how did you overcome them?
Yes. So again, I went in this really naive. Now I'm talking to you about something. One thing I didn't realize is something I'm starting a couple of my sentences with. When you're building a platform where you're relying on inventory, you're relying on buyers and sellers, it's like a chicken and egg situation. So I was definitely getting a lot of people wanting to sell their items. And you can sell your item for free on the platform. So you get the full amount that you advertise the item for. So that was the easy process. But then it was kind of building the trust and also getting the buyers to buy the pieces. So it's keeping both the buyer and the seller happy. So that was something that definitely the trust element, why people needed to use me. It's also changing kind of an attitude in the UAE of we all put things on Facebook marketplaces or WhatsApp groups when we want to buy and sell things. So it's kind of changing the narrative there and actually providing a platform and trying to move people that shift because people want real convenience in the UAE. They want things quick. They want things fast. I wanted to also offer collection and delivery. And I found that there wasn't many companies that would do that unless you had kind of like a warehouse or one address. So we actually ended up kind of bringing that in-house. So I'd say were a lot of kind of early challenges. I think every day still you're kind of firefighting something. Then there was the kind of payment gateway. Not many companies, again, worked with individuals. A lot of them work with businesses. But with this, it's individuals paying, not companies. And then once I'd kind of got the business model, the payment gateway, the delivery and collection sorted, it was then just, getting the brand out there and ensuring people trusted us.
I love how you said in the beginning that you really didn't know what you were getting into. Again, so many people say that, right? And honestly, that's the best way to begin, because you will only learn what your challenges are going to be once you're in it. You cannot plan for everything. So by just putting off and waiting for perfect, you probably would never have started. Many people have told me, if I knew then what I know now, I may never have started. But that is the beauty of it, right? Just done is better than perfect. So just get started, then you'll figure out all the other things and then get over those challenges. And it sounds like that's the way you've dealt with it, and just taken each new challenge and just dealt with it and solved for the problem. In my mind, I was thinking, so what is different? Why would people buy from your platform, from Reloved, instead of handling or buying or selling on Facebook Marketplace or WhatsApp group? But that's because you've solved for the delivery and collection issue, and you've solved for the payment issue. So it makes it a lot more convenient for them to use the platform. Are there any other benefits to people using the platform rather than just buying and selling on other platforms?
So if you're selling the item, your contact details aren't given to the buyers or the potential buyers. So any questions that are asked are public. For example, if you were selling, a grey sofa, if there was questions about the dimensions or about the condition or, any other questions people have, you're not being inundated with the same ones because people can see what's been asked previously. I suppose it's the convenience. It's just making sure everything's done, seamlessly, trustworthy. You're not speaking to loads of different strangers. We verify all of our items before they get listed. So we make sure the items are legitimate. We don't accept electronics just because I couldn't, as the CEO and the founder, I didn't want items to be on the platform that I couldn't confirm are genuine or that would work. And I wouldn't want people to be buying items that weren't working. So we also have a concierge service. So if you don't have time or you can't really be bothered to upload your items, we also come to your house and we upload for you, and you just sit back and wait for the sale to come through.
I love that. I particularly love the privacy part of it. I think that's excellent. I like the idea of the concierge service because oftentimes we're so busy, we have things around the house, we think we'd love to put that on the marketplace, I'd love to sell that, but we just don't have the time. And to have someone who is willing to come in, take those pictures, upload it, and you just give you a portion of whatever the proceeds would be, I'm assuming. That would make absolute sense because you are solving, again, for two problems. You clearing up something in your house without actually just throwing it out and getting a little bit of money back for it. That sort of leads me to my question about sustainability. I know that sustainability is a huge focus for Reloved. Why is conscious consumption such a personal mission for you?
So I think it's something that personally I've always been conscious of: plastic waste, recycling, making sure I'm not wasting my food, ensuring I always have kind of a recyclable bag that I put my shopping in. But I think people kind of think when it comes to their clothes or their items in their house, people are so in that mindset of wanting something new all the time. And you don't need to, especially in the UAE. There's so many beautiful products that are either worn once and no, people don't want to be seen in the same outfit twice, or people transit through the UAE. They're only here for a couple of years. They might have some gorgeous kind of items, furniture. People that have children, they grow out of things so quickly, whether it's toys or their clothes. So there's a stigma kind of around secondhand being second best. But I think in the UAE especially, it's not. It's actually loads of hidden gems. And I've just got ingrained into me that I want to be doing my bit for the planet, and I think we all should do as well. And I think we all do easily when it comes to like the recycling element, but we don't think about those items that we have in our home. And also, as well as kind of saving the planet, you're saving money, or you're also getting money. If you're selling something, and I would rather buy something from someone in my community of the UAE or of Dubai or wherever you are, when I'm buying that item, I'm giving that money to another family. And I find that quite empowering because I do like supporting small businesses and individuals rather than kind of the big multi-million dollar companies.
I know you've mentioned that you've helped users avoid over 1.5 tons of CO2 emissions. How do you track that? And what does that impact mean to you?
The impact, it just makes me smile. I think it works out to be around 7,000 iPhones charged, and it can power, I think, up to 25 houses for a day of electricity. And we're just at the beginnings. I review our stats every month, and we use a carbon calculator online, as those are things that need to be taken into consideration. So we do a lot of estimates, and we always kind of underestimate our savings. So hopefully by now, when this podcast has been released, there'll be a lot more kind of tons of carbon emissions saved. And that impact for me just, it shows that I'm doing my bit for the planet.
I love that you are so conscious of it. And it helps all of us to be part of that journey by recycling, by reusing, by buying pre-loved items. It's excellent. Let's talk a little bit about the emotional side of being a founder. How have you navigated pressure, self-doubt, or even burnout?
Don't think I've navigated it very well.
I love your honesty.
I didn't realise how hard it was going to be and how emotional it was. I just assumed, I think there's definitely a glamorization about being self-employed, and it's not glamorous at all. If anything, it's the complete opposite. I have my corporate job, and I think I realised that how grateful I am that you get given, your visa and your medical and things, because even just trying to get the money for that when you're self-employed, takes a lot of work. I didn't realise how lonely it would be, kind of imposter syndrome. I kind of do ask myself daily, weekly, why am I doing this? I find when you have good days, you have really good days. And when you have bad days, they can be bad. But I think it's definitely surrounding yourself with other founders or people going through the same journey. I always look back at kind of see what I've done and what I've achieved when it comes to like self-doubt. And burnout is something I have suffered with twice this year, actually, because I wasn't listening to my body. Over the past couple of months, I've just thought, I also don't think you need to be filling every second of the day with work, which is what I was doing, because I thought that's how you would be successful. And actually, when you take a step back and when you take some time to work on yourself, it reflects in your energy, it reflects in kind of your decision making, and then it helps prevent your burnout. And I think you don't realize sometimes when you are a business owner that you think you've got to fill every day with working, but actually you're sometimes more productive by taking a day off, because you could go and sit by the pool or go to the gym, and all of a sudden all these new ideas may come to you because you've just taken a time to step back. And I find you come back to work and come back to your desk a completely different person. Whereas when you're burnt out, you're not making any good decisions, you're not achieving anything, and your customers end up losing out.
Yeah, those are some really excellent tips. And as you say, being a business owner is not as glamorous as it's made out to be. There are a lot of challenges, a lot of stress, a lot of worry. But I do love that you say just to take a step back, sometimes taking that break then reinvigorates you and gives you the new ideas to come back refreshed and start again, and then give your best self back to your customers. Some very good tips there. Of course, we couldn't finish this podcast without talking about the final pitch. For our listeners who don't know what the final pitch is and what your role was, can you just give us a little overview of your experience?
Absolutely. So the final pitch is a TV show that started in the Philippines. This year they brought this to the UAE. Is how I would describe it, kind of like Dragon's Den, Shark Tank meets The Apprentice. So it's kind of a business reality TV show where you pitch your business to mentors and then they give you some feedback. Then you pitch your business to investors. If the investors like what you've got on your business, they give you feedback, and then you go and work with them and kind of shadow their lives. So I was really lucky enough to be reached out by one of the producers on LinkedIn, and I filmed, and it was released in November. I didn't get very far. I got amazing feedback, and the exposure since the show's been launched has been really good. It's not every day you get to be on TV, which was, again, a really cool experience, which I'm so grateful for.
Amazing. Cool and terrifying, I would imagine.
Absolutely terrifying, awful.
First of all, congratulations. I mean, like you said, just to get on TV, that's already a huge accomplishment. What was your biggest takeaway or the biggest learning you took from the experience?
My biggest learning, I would say, is just being yourself, be authentic. That's what I think investors buy into. And I think as well, you look so different on TV. I always think, why didn't someone do their hair or their makeup when they went on TV? But you look so different. And I think it was so nice to meet other people that were going through something similar to me. Yeah, it was very long days. The experience was completely different to what you'd see it as on TV.
Fantastic opportunity to see a little bit behind the curtain on how the sausage is made. Amazing. You mentioned that happiness doesn't come from perfection, but from alignment. How do you stay grounded, both as a mom and as a founder?
I love kind of like self-development. I love nature. I love being outside. I like actually grounding myself, putting my bare feet on the grass. I think taking a step back, taking time to realize what's important. Yeah, just being appreciative of life. It goes so quickly. Just stop always being so rushed and in the hustle of everything. And it's the small things that matter, and it's the small things that count. And if you've got your health and you're happy, then everything else is good.
Excellent. You're so right. It's the small things that matter. And I'll tell you I love grounding myself on the grass. And my family always laugh at me. I'm like, I've got to get out. I've got to ground myself. And they're like, you're crazy. You know that. Like, you know what? It works. I love it.
It works. It recharges us. We're batteries.
You know, as kids, we grow up running on the grass, running outside. But as adults, we forget to take off our shoes and our socks and just put our feet on the earth. It's fantastic. I love doing that. Well, I'm happy you mentioned that. And again, like you say, the simple things in life actually matter. Very good. What's your vision for the future of Reloved and the circular commerce in the UAE?
My vision, my dream would be just for people to be more conscious of what they're buying and what they're selling, and to change the narrative, to bring people onto a platform to show how kind of easy it is rather than on these Facebook marketplaces, and to stop people just throwing good quality items, especially even if you don't want to sell it, just donate it onto someone else. Yeah, just making sure everyone's doing their bit for the environment. My dream would be, to be a household name and to be recognized throughout everyone on who would use the platform.
Excellent. I'm sure it will be. It's such a good initiative. Solves for so many problems. So I will support you.
Thanks, Sylvia. I appreciate it.
I cannot finish the segment without asking you, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs who are thinking of starting over or building something meaningful from scratch?
I would say, as we mentioned, it's not going to be perfect. Just take the first leap, which is getting something out there. Definitely do your due diligence, make sure you're solving that problem, and just take time, trust the process, be authentic, make sure your kind of personal brand's out there, people buy into people at the end of the day, and enjoy it, but it is going to be a bumpy ride, and enjoy the bumps.
I also liked what you said earlier about surrounding ourselves with people, with others in the same situation who can support us. I think that's also valuable. Some good advice there, but as Nike says, just do it. Just get started and then enjoy the bumps along the way, even when they are difficult. Now we've come to the segment of our show where I'll ask you some rapid-fire questions, our version of a game show. Are you ready?
No, I'm nervous. Didn't know this was happening.
What's one word that best describes your journey so far?
I would say bumpy.
A book or podcast that recently inspired you?
Diary of a CEO, the book.
Quite a few people mention that. Stephen Bartlett. Your favorite coffee order?
I love a sweet thing, so mocha.
A small daily habit that keeps you grounded?
Spending time outside.
What does success mean to you?
Happiness.
And what is one thing you do every day, no matter how busy you get?
Make sure I eat.
I wish I would forget to eat, but okay, very good. Thank you for playing along. That was easy enough. Now I would like to ask you our signature green pill question. What green pill advice would you give to your younger self?
I would say trust the process. Surround yourself with positivity and don't sweat the small stuff. All your dreams will become a reality if you take the right steps in doing so. And take the time to be grateful rather than focusing on the next thing.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for sharing your journey with such honesty and clarity. I've absolutely loved this conversation. From rebuilding Reloved after a major setback to championing conscious consumption in the UAE, your story is a powerful reminder that resilience and purpose can coexist and thrive, even though they can be difficult in entrepreneurship. Before we wrap up, where can our listeners connect with you or learn more about Reloved?
So you can visit our website, therelovedmarketplace.com, or follow us on socials, Reloved UAE.
Super. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Hilmarie. It was such a pleasure being on your show. And thank you to the listeners.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Matrix Green Pill podcast. If any story inspired you, please follow the show and leave us a 5-star review. It helps us share more stories like this one. Until next time, stay curious, stay grateful, and don't forget to live with purpose.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.